This video counts for both males and females. Okay? I've said this quite often before in my previous videos, and I've over 3,000 videos on this channel that I've made past 6 years. You should never honor anyone that is dishonorable. You have a basis of decency that you show to every human being. That's a basic honor because they're human beings. That's practical. But the real honor, giving weight and importance to someone or allowing someone to have influence over you, well, that's what honoring someone means. You shouldn't do that unless one is honorable. And what makes someone honorable? If they're first of all safe. If they're not safe, they can't be honorable. Secondly, if they are accountable, in the sense that they are taking responsibility. They don't have to, quote unquote, have it all together. They don't have to know everything. They can still have defective ways of thinking here and there. But if they are safe to be around because they are realistic, and once they see issues, they are practical enough to look for solutions. If they're like that, then they are honorable. They're not narcissists, because if they're narcissists, they can't be honorable. As I mentioned before, they may have some defect thinking here and there, but if they are practical, and when they see trouble and they realize they need to take actions, when they are realistic, then they are honorable. That doesn't mean that you have to give to them full honor. For example, you can have a father, an earthly father that's like this, but he doesn't serve Christ. So you can honor him to an extent, because he's not a believer. He still has worldly thinking. So when it comes to deep spiritual issues, you don't honor him. You will honor him by giving him significance in your life till an extent. Okay? When it begins to cross the will of God, it's over. Or if you have a friend, no, not really a friend, but if you have an associate that's out of the world, he's not a believer, but he is alert, then you can honor him by allowing him to have some influence in your affairs to a certain extent, because he alerts you when he sees danger. God can even use him without him being aware of it. But he's an unbeliever, so you can't give him full honor. You can honor him in certain ways, but not in a complete way like you would honor a believer that walks by faith. Believers that walk by faith you honor automatically because they're walking by faith. Automatically is not the same as unconditionally. The only reason you honor them automatically is because they are in line with Christ. But it is Christ himself that receives our unconditional honor. You should never honor any other being unconditionally that's not Christ. Only Christ himself should receive unconditional honor from us, without any question, without any questions asked. Believers that walk by faith should receive honor automatically because they're also walking in the power of the Holy Spirit. Believers that still have fleshly ways of thinking, which is narcissistic ways of thinking, you have to treat them with caution because the enemy can use them. Unbelievers that are practical, you can give them some honor here and there because that will work out well, that they will realize that God is for them. But if they after a while keep holding on to the ways of the world, then you lower contact with them. Because you can't keep them around because they'll become an asset for the enemy against you. If you have unbelievers that have no interest whatsoever in being realistic nor in facing things, then you don't honor them at all. You have the basic human decency that you show towards them to remain civil, but you will not honor them. You hear me? Even if that reprobate is one of your parents or grandparents, I don't care. You won't honor them. You only honor those that are honorable. The reason why many women, and also men, remain stuck in abusive marriages, abusive relationships, or in abusive jobs is because they think that they owe honor to the employer, they owe honor to that parents, or they owe honor to that husband or wife, or they owe honor to that church or to that community. Listen, when a pastor, when a parent, when a spouse, or when a child, or when a community, because it also happens on a collective scale, when a community is not honorable, you should not honor them. So if you grow up in a village where people look after one another as far as they can, even if they're not walking by faith, you can honor that community. If you grew up in an abusive environment and the community enabled that environment, then don't honor that community. Don't. I'm not telling you to become negative towards them and to wish harm on them and to be bitter against them. No. You don't do that, because then you would enable harm on yourself. You're not going to do that to yourself. You align with Christ. And because you align with Christ, you will recognize those people are dishonorable, so that means they receive no honor. You don't honor them. Especially when it comes to communities. Never honor a community that's dishonorable. By doing that, you will be enabling their collective narcissism, and by doing that, you are feeding predators. You are empowering predators by doing that. And those predators will prey on little kids, or they will prey on vulnerable women, especially single moms or widows or women that are still single. Or you will also have female predators that will be empowered by you honoring a dishonorable community. So by honoring a dishonorable community, you are becoming a friend of the world. And being a friend of the world, and remember, the world is run by the beast. You are friends with the beast. And you can't be friends with the beast who's against God, and at the same time you're worshiping God. That will not happen. That cannot happen. Look, you can't serve two lords. You cannot both worship God and at the same time you honor abusive communities. Because to honor abusive communities is to be worldly minded. You can't do both at the same time. You're not designed. You can't do that. It's not possible. Because either you will hold on to your trust in God and you'll walk by faith, and by doing that, you will shun the ways of the world, or you will cling onto the ways of the world, which will blind you from seeing that you're trapped. And because you can't see you're trapped, without being aware of it, you're walking enmity against Christ. It's one of the two. So stop honoring abusive communities. Stop honoring people that are dishonorable. Look, if you have a parent, for example, that lost it one day, let me say like this, he broke down mentally, he had a psychosis, and he killed someone and now he's in jail. Now what happened? That was an incident, a very fatal and tragic incident. But if, apart from that, he's remorseful, he's repentful, and he still wants the best for you, and he's willing to make effort even from behind bars, then you can honor him. You have to honor him in a different way because he's in jail, but that's different. So look at the context. But let's say you have a parent who never went to jail, but he or she is abusive without remorse. They're full-blown narcissists, and they think they have the right to still vampirize you. Don't honor them. Don't invite them to the graduation of your children. Don't invite them to birthday parties. Don't share any personal information of you and your family with them. Don't even call them. Don't honor them. Often, I encounter this discussion of believers. Well, okay, they call them just believers. Let me call them just churchgoers, in which you ask, how do you honor an abusive parent? Or how do you honor a parent that was never there for you? And I began to think, why do those people even ask that question? The fact that someone is dishonorable disqualifies them from receiving any honor from anyone. But a lot of people, especially people that grew up in church, are brainwashed. They are brainwashed into thinking that predators have a right to vampirize them if those predators reflect the common will of the community. That is the hoax that those churchgoers are conditioned into. And because this hoax is backed up with Bible verses, through false teaching, they can't see how trapped they are. They think they're doing the right thing to please God by honoring a dishonorable parent. No. Christ said, don't throw your pearls before swine. When someone persists in the negative, they want no solutions, but at the same time they demand the best of the community, or they just want to be left alone and everyone just has to put up with that rejection of theirs, then they are swine. And what do you do with a swine? You avoid them because they are filthy. They will only pollute you with their bitterness. And eventually, they'll begin to dump their bitterness on you. They will contaminate you with their energetic filth. So what do? You avoid a swine. There are times swine will come to you to just look for an argument so that they can dump their heaviness on you to feel relieved. They are worse than heroin addicts. So when someone is a swine, and you can see clearly they are swine because they have a violent resistance, they have a militant resistance against justice. They absolutely don't want to comply with justice. They fight against anyone that tells them that they need to comply with justice, then they are swine. Why do with swine? You don't cast your pearls before swine. You avoid swine. And if they come after you, you go for safety. You don't confront them. You don't work things out with them because they are dangerous people. Stop honoring those that are dishonorable. Don't do that. Stop honoring them. You honor those that are honorable. That's how it ought to be. That's it for now. Keep agreeing with Christ and be at peace.